There we go, everybody. Welcome, everybody. This is Daniel. I know. You guys have been wondering, where have I been? Where have I been? Look, man, I've had so many changes and everything, but we have the new studio set up. I have a new table. Oh, man. And coming soon, I have a new 4K camera. I'm still reading the directions so before I set it up. So that 4K camera let's go to full screen right now, everyone. So let's turn this off. Okay. No, I needed that. All right, everybody. So I have the new studio set up and it's still a little dark here. So I'm going to, on the next live stream, I'll have to add some more lights and everything. But welcome, everybody. I know it's been a while since I've aired. First off, let's get into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now at 115,000 US dollars. To be exact, it's 115,641 dollars and some change. And so, and let's check out the high that Bitcoin has reached. Okay, let's see. It's gotten all the way up to 116,000. So, yes, so it's gotten up to 116,000. My predictions were that previous is that if the economy was different, we would already have hit 150,000 US dollars. But it have been so many political roadblocks set up in front of Donald Trump that the market has just fluctuated over the new trade tariffs and things of that nature. With that being said, let's get into the interesting political news that from this past week. I'm mourning the assassination of a great figure, Charlie Kirk. It makes no sense. Charlie Kirk was a person who believed in open dialogue, because if you don't have any dialogue, you end up with war. So let's take a scenario. Let's say it's 1628, and you have the two countries, Spain and France, and you have two kings that are at contention, maybe over some particular land. And instead of having dialogue, both Spain and France have cardinals in the Vatican and Rome. So instead of diplomacy and having counselors meet in Rome at the Vatican with the Pope and discuss these differences, the King of Spain decides, well, I don't want to have dialogue. And so instead of attacking a village, they go after a softer target, which is the French cardinal, who is in the Vatican in Rome doing the necessary cardinal duties. And so the King of Spain sends mercenaries to Rome, and they assassinate the French cardinal inside the Vatican. Well, then the end result is France declares war on Spain. And in these scenarios, which have already occurred, that's why I'm giving these hypothetical scenarios. The first village in Spain that France reaches, they kill all of the people in the village, including the children and the babies, and they kill everybody and leave a pool of blood in the streets of this Spanish village. These are things that have already occurred in human history. So that's why I'm given this hypothetical situation, that if you don't have dialogue, you end up with war. And so if you disagreed with Charlie Kirk, what you would do is just go to one of these college campuses that he's visiting, and he always had a microphone for you to walk up to. And when I was at UC Davis, and Dr. Harry Edwards of UC Berkeley's sociology department would come to UC Davis, he always had two microphones. And after he gave his lecture, and a lot of people disagreed with his views, then he'd have an hour Q&A where you could go up to the microphone and you could say, well, Dr. Edwards, I don't agree with your position. This is how I feel. And then he would respond to you. That's what Charlie Kirk was doing. So if you're transgender, if you're gay, and you don't agree with his views on Christianity, then you would go to a college campus that Charlie Kirk was going to visit, and you would wait your turn, and then you'd get up to the microphone, just like he was doing, answering a question on mass shootings. At the time that he was shot, he was responding to someone in the crowd, I believe a college student, and the college student asked him a question on mass shootings. And possibly because Charlie Kirk is from Arizona, and Arizona has gun laws where you could openly walk around and carry your firearm with you. And let's say you don't agree with having firearms at all. Then, as this person was probably doing, they were saying, probably the question was, how can you support carrying guns in public when you're having these school mass shootings? And then Charlie Kirk's response was, does that include gang violence? And it doesn't, because of gang violence, there's so many mass school shootings, especially in Los Angeles and in Chicago, that are not reported. Only the one in suburban communities are really reported. And so Charlie Kirk was responding to that at the time that he was fired. Now, with that being said, I want to get into the similarities and the differences of this assassination of Charlie Kirk and the attempt on Donald Trump. So here are some things that I've noticed. And I'm going to preface all of this with, I believe that Charlie Kirk's security team and members of the Secret Service are responsible for his assassination. So let me get into the reasons why I believe this. If you look at Butler, Pennsylvania, and you look at that situation, we still to this day know nothing about the alleged shooter. All we know is that this person was seen on the rooftop. He was a highly intelligent person, an engineer, and he was on the rooftop for a long time, and no one said anything, which is highly suspicious. In addition to that, somehow the Secret Service didn't spot this guy on the rooftop. And this was on live television. And so to this day, we don't know really anything about this alleged shooter. All we know is he was found dead close by, and we were told that he killed himself. Now, let's compare that to the Charlie Kirk situation. The same thing. In fact, some people have said that one of the Secret Service person, the guy with the black shirt that was right behind Charlie Kirk, he was doing hand gestures along with the guy in all white. The guy in all white was clearly Secret Service, and he was doing baseball hand gestures like a base coach would give to steal a base. And he was signaling to somebody. Okay. And now let's say with Charlie Kirk, first of all, there was no emergency ambulance, 911 paramedics around, which is crazy. Why would there not be any emergency ambulance in case somebody passed out, fainted, or something like that? So there was really no way to save him. Okay, once he was shot, they just put him in the SUV. He probably was dead within 15 minutes. Okay. And then we have this guy on the rooftop. Okay. Now, Charlie Kirk was underneath the canopy. So the guy on the roof, he didn't have a clear shot of Charlie Kirk. And if he did, he had to be military trained and seen combat, like Afghanistan or Iraq, and he was a sniper. Okay. And from the photographs that I saw, the guy jumped off the roof. He didn't have a rifle in his hand. And then all of a sudden, a rifle is found a few blocks away, stashed somewhere. Very suspicious, like Lee Harvey Oswald and his supposed rifle being found in the book depository, and that he just left the gun there. So this Tyler Robinson, I believe, is a patsy. I'm going to pull up a photograph of the person of interest climbing up the stairs, and then we'll pull up a photograph of Tyler Robinson, and these are not the same people. The guy, let's pull up right now. Let me pull this up. Okay. And I haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to have to refigure out how to do this because I haven't done it in a while. So let's see. Okay, Facebook. Okay, so okay, here we go. All right, so let's see if you guys can see that. No, so I need to pull this up. Okay, it has to be share screen. Okay, yep, I got that. So we go to Facebook. Okay. Okay, and let me see if you guys can see it. Okay, so here we go. So this guy right here that I'm pointing to, okay, they're saying that that's Tyler Robinson. That's not Tyler Robinson. So this guy right here with the shades on, they say is a 22-year-old college student named Tyler Robinson, okay, who is the son of a sheriff who turned Tyler Robinson in. And he was a sheriff in Utah for 27 years. Well, this guy might be in college, but this is not a 22-year-old college student. Okay. This guy is not 22 years old. He does not look like a 22-year-old college student. He does not look like Tyler Robinson, in fact. Okay. What he looks like is an intelligence community member that he's a part of either the CIA or the FBI or Secret Service. Okay. And he looks like a military trained sniper who's either in the Marines or the Army. And I don't believe the guy on the roof is the person that shot Charlie Kirk. I believe that it was somebody standing close to Charlie Kirk, because the person, if somebody shot, if you get shot from the front, the force of the bullet is going to push you backwards, and it's going to come out of your back. Okay. The bullet hit Charlie Kirk from his right side of his face and pushed him to the left side. So it was somebody at ground level, and I'm going to show you who I think it was. Let me go there right now. Okay. And this guy that I'm going to share.
So I really want you to pay attention to this.
Okay.
On Charlie Kirk's shooting.
Listen to this.
You see him right there? That's him debating with somebody.
Okay, now let's stop. Okay, this man with the black sweater on is standing next to a woman in all white who has her camera out. Okay, she actually, I believe, she is a part of this whole conspiracy. They clearly know each other because their elbows are showing. I believe this guy with the black sweater right here is the person that shot Charlie Kirk. Okay? Because what you have is you have an African-American man who goes to the table where there's paraphernalia to buy, like hats and water bottles and stuff like that. And he starts throwing the hats in the air, which is a staged distraction, like with Malcolm X's assassination. And when Charlie Kirk orders his security to go stop the guy, and that's immediately when Charlie Kirk is shot. I believe this guy in the black shirt is the one that actually fires the bullet. And they have the African-American man who is an accomplice, and he's the distraction. So I believe you have this white gentleman with the black sweater on and red hat posing as a MAGA person next to a woman in all white hat, white dress. She's recording what's happening. Then behind Charlie Kirk, you have his security team who are Secret Service, one in all white, who's throwing baseball hand signals. And he's the one that moves as Charlie Kirk is shot. And then you have the other Secret Service in all black, who looks like the guy that was on stage in Butler, Pennsylvania, when they attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. He's throwing signs as well. Those two people and this woman in white and the man in black need to be detained because they're all a part of this, along with the African-American man. The guy on the rooftop is a decoy to make you think it's the same as Butler, Pennsylvania. So they have this guy on the rooftop posing as if he's a sniper. So you think that the shooter is coming from the rooftop when in fact the shooter is standing to the right on ground level right in front of Charlie Kirk. And everybody immediately ducks at once the bullet is fired. And so they don't know where the bullet is coming from. And then when they stand up, they see a guy on the rooftop who is running, and he jumps from the rooftop. He doesn't have his rifle in his hand. And then the rifle is found a few blocks away. And the guy jumping from the rooftop does not look like Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old that they have in police custody right now. He doesn't even look like the guy. So this is all a staged distraction. So we can't really identify who the real shooter is. But I got news for you, Secret Service and whoever else is a part of this conspiracy. We out here are actually a lot more intelligent with CSI and NCIS and all these programs. We've watched enough of these shows to understand how an investigation takes place and who is involved in all of this stuff. Okay. So the guy on the rooftop is a decoy. He probably had a rifle in his hand, but he wasn't the shooter. And then he quickly jumps off the rooftop and disappears into the neighborhood quickly. That's not Tyler Robinson. If you take, I'm going to pull up some photos of Tyler Robinson, and let's go back here. Let's listen to what this guy has to say, because he's a military guy and he understands what's going on. So let's listen to what this guy has to say.
So I really want you to pay attention to this. On Charlie Kirk shooting, you see him right there? That's him debating with somebody here right before he gets shot, right here. He got shot from his right-hand side, on that side, coming out here. See the wall there? Right next to him is people and another wall. I'm going to make this make sense in a second.
Mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years. Counting or not counting gang violence.
All right, that's right when he gets shot, right there. He got shot right then, coming from that side of him, coming to here. Now see the wall? See the bleachers here? You see another wall there. They're saying he got shot from rooftop, which means he would have to be up from here, going down there, because he got shot from that side, coming out here. But I'm going to make something else very trivial. Where they said the shooter was, watch this.
A second later, he was shot in the neck in the middle of the quad, sitting underneath a banner that said the American comeback. We know one round was fired.
Okay, now, from what I just showed you, he's here, facing that direction. That's the wall you were seeing. Those are the bleachers you were seeing. Those are the people you were seeing. He got shot from here going out there. Now they're saying he got shot from a shooter over here, which would make the trajectory basically in his throat, out his back. Impossible. This is a cover-up, people. He was shot from this side, going out that side. I know that. I'm ex-military, guys. I know how a bullet works. And if you saw the canopy in the beginning, you couldn't see the canopy, or sorry, you couldn't see him from the canopy from up here, only from right here, because the canopy was very low. And if you look, you can only see people up this high. And he was shot from this direction, going out to that direction. They're saying the shooter was there. 100% impossible. If something happens to me, guys, please understand. I'm just trying to uncover this. They're covering it up 1,000%.
So that is Chad Sartin. Okay, that's his explanation. So that he's following what I'm following. Okay, so as I showed you earlier, the guy, the hefty guy with the black sweater with the red hat, posing as a MAGA person next to the white woman with all white hat and dress, they're a part of this conspiracy, along with the two Secret Service guys that are standing right behind Charlie Kirk. Okay, the one in all white and the guy with the black shirt that really looks very similar to the same guy on stage in Butler, Pennsylvania, with the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. Okay, this is an inside job, everybody. Okay, this is an inside job. President Trump had members of the Secret Service added to Charlie Kirk's security team. And for whatever their political reasons are, they got something against Donald Trump. They want to, just like with, I believe J. Edgar Hoover is responsible. And I believe that J. Edgar Hoover and George Herbert Walker Bush, who was the director of the CIA, were responsible for the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. And they had their motivations. One of them was his negotiating with Dr. Martin Luther King for Black rights. and meeting. And J. Edgar Hoover was a known racist. So he was upset with President John F. Kennedy for meeting and negotiating with Dr. Martin Luther King. And shortly afterwards, Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated as well. Okay. And just like with Dr. Martin Luther King, when they found the rifle, if the rifle had engraved in it KKK or something like that, that's a decoy, just like this rifle had engraved in it Antifa and transgender to throw us off the scent. No, these are members of the intelligence community that they want power. And for the last 50, 75 years, both the CIA and the FBI have been pulling strings behind the scenes, controlling presidents. And J. Edgar Hoover would spy on presidents. Like, for a long time, there was a microphone that J. Edgar Hoover had planted in the White House that was above the chandelier, and that was in the Oval Office, and that was his way of collecting and spying on the actual president. And in The Art of War, Sun Tzu warns about this. He says that kings and emperors and generals have to be very careful that spies do not decide to usurp power and assassinate the emperor or assassinate the general. So you have to watch spies. And right now, for the last 75 years, the FBI and the CIA have pretty much been running a shadow government behind the scenes, pretty much implementing their own politics, regardless of what the elected president is, whatever their agenda is. And these people want power. And Donald Trump is not from the military. He's not from politics. He's not from the in crowd. He wasn't a member of the Skull and Bones. He wasn't a member of Pi Kappa Alpha. He wasn't a member of any of these fraternities. He's not a Freemason. He's not an inside guy, but he's very powerful, and he's a billionaire, and he's a strong force. And they want to control Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is doing his own agenda. And then you have the fake news media labeling Charlie Kirk as a person who spreads hatred. And Charlie Kirk is just saying, look, I'm a Christian and I don't agree with transgender, and I don't believe they should have rights. And if you don't agree with me, just come to a college campus and grab the microphone and you can debate with me and share your opinion. But the left, the Democrats, have so much hatred because they were able to cheat and get Joe Biden in for 4 years, stuff the ballot boxes. We still haven't had a recount of the ballots in Arizona from the 2020 election. And they want power so bad that they're willing to kill anybody. And Charlie Kirk had 7.9 million followers on Facebook. He was an influencer, just like I am. I only have, 3,600 followers on Facebook. On TikTok, I have a combined 30,000 followers. On YouTube, I think I have about 5,000 followers and stuff. So I have my following on social media is 40,000 people. Okay, Charlie Kirk's following on social media was 10 million people combined and possibly more. Okay, and he had written a lot of books, and the left could not debate with him. They couldn't do what we did in the 90s. Is if you didn't agree with somebody, you would go to their presentation when they met at a college campus like UC Davis or UC Berkeley. You walk up to the microphone and you say, I don't agree with you. You give out your reasons. You listen to what they have to say, but you don't get up to the microphone and say, I don't agree with you, and then pull out a handgun and shoot the guy right there in front of everybody. Okay. And to see What these people who want to be protected are the transgender. They call themselves liberal. They call themselves Democrats. If you see the hatred and the mockery, it's the same as when Tupac was murdered. How people around the country cheered the murder of Tupac Shakur. Okay. And now we're being haunted by the murder of Tupac Shakur because now a white guy has been murdered, and you have both black and white people. And I'm ashamed, being African American, that a lot of African Americans have gotten on social media. And even a African American recruiter in the military has just been relieved of his duties. I think he was in the Army, and they just relieved this guy of his duties because he went on social media and said another racist gets popped. And then you got all these other people that have gone on social media. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going on social media and you are bragging that you're happy that Charlie Kirk was assassinated and that he was murdered, don't be surprised when you lose your job. Okay? Because social media is powerful. And when you go on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, even if you go on TikTok and you make a video and say, I'm glad that Charlie Kirk was murdered and assassinated. Well, don't be surprised if somebody reports you to the authorities, as well as, because now you're mocking an assassination and a murder. You might have the possibility of doing that yourself. Okay, so now we need to watch you. Okay, so don't be surprised if the FBI or the CIA begins monitoring your social media account. All right, so let's put it out there, baby Bubba. And don't be surprised if you show up to work and they get rid of you and say, well, whether you agreed with Charlie Kirk and his political views or not, it's not a good look for you to go on social media and mock the murder of this guy. But for me, bad things reveal a lot. And what it shows is these people who call themselves liberals and Democrats, it shows how demonic these people are. And I'm a very religious person, just like Charlie Kirk. Like Charlie Kirk has so many videos of saying, my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, and I'm a sinner, and Jesus saved me. Now, if you hate Charlie Kirk for making that statement, that's your right to do that. And let's be aware that out of the 12 disciples, John is the only one that was not murdered. The other 11 disciples were murdered. Like Peter went to Russia to spread Christianity, and he was murdered in Russia. And they call that city St. Petersburg because Peter was murdered in Russia spreading Christianity. All right. So if you hate me because I'm a Christian, well, Christ already taught me that he gave his life to save me, but of his 12 disciples, 11 of them were murdered, spreading the word of Christ. And I believe that Jesus Christ was an Ethiopian man. Okay. So, this is, this shows the hatred that exists out there in this world. And the Democrats have gone down a slippery slope by celebrating and mocking the murder of a good person. And that type of nastiness and viciousness is going to come back to haunt them. Now, with that being said, I'm back now. So I'm going to be going live streaming every day now. And I want to say, Charlie Kirk, I love you. I know you're in heaven with our Lord and Savior. And you are a martyr. And you paid the ultimate price by giving your life. And you will be remembered. And this is a sad moment in the United States of America that we are in. And Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, has his hands full because now Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Kash Patel know, and the Trump administration know, that they have a lot of inside moles that will take them out and anybody that supports them. So they need to be very careful now. And I knew that we would not get through this year, 2025, without somebody in the Trump administration or affiliation circle being assassinated. And now we have our first, which is Charlie Kirk. So it's not a surprise to me that somebody associated with Donald Trump was assassinated. I knew this was coming. And I was just wondering who it was going to be. And right now we know the first person is Charlie Kirk. So with that, I want to say I love you all. God bless you. Let's pray for Charlie Kirk's wife. And I guess she's in shock, but I'm scratching my head at how she's the wife of Charlie Kirk. I'm scratching my head at her response. I guess she's in shock, but I'm at a loss for words for her reaction to this whole situation because I have a lot of questions right now for her. And she seems a little, her response seems a little bit off. Okay. But people in shock, I don't know. Yes, I do. I have my own personal experience with this. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I will be back with more to come. So thank you so much, everybody. God bless you. Enjoy your Sunday. Today is September 14th, 2025. Have a great day. God bless us all.